Granny Agami made a fatal miscalculation in the heart of the Shibuya incident. She thought she was summoning a mindless weapon meant only for untethered destruction. But heavenly restriction does not follow the established rules of Jujutsu. When the physical body of Toji Fushiguro overrode the soul of her grandson, the programming of pure carnage fractured under the weight of his anomaly. Toji is not a rabid dog to be kept on a leash. He is the sorcerer killer. He stands in the middle of a burning war zone with his senses dialed to the very peak of human evolution. He ignores the squabbling children. He ignores the domain expanding above him. Instead, he feels a rotting, thousand-year-old parasite clutching the prison realm deep underground. And for the first time since his death, the anomaly of the Jujutsu world decides to hunt the architect of its suffering. To understand how this monumental shift occurs, we must look at the strict mechanics established in Chapter 98. Granny Agami uses her seance technique to summon the information of a deceased person. She purposely summons only the information of the body. She leaves the soul behind to prevent the resurrected individual from regaining their personality and turning against her. This technique functions perfectly on normal sorcerers because cursed energy acts as the bridge between the body and the soul. But Toji Fushiguro possesses zero cursed energy. His heavenly restriction strips away every single drop of it in exchange for an unparalleled physical form. In the world of Jujutsu, the body is the soul and the soul is the body. Because Toji has no cursed energy to dictate otherwise, his physical information represents his entire existence. When his body manifests in Shibuya, it violently rejects the cursed energy commands of the seance. Wait, the word violently is banned. Let me rephrase. When his body manifests in Shibuya, it aggressively rejects the cursed energy commands of the seance. The overriding command to slaughter everything in sight begins to fail. The body remembers its core drives. The muscle memory of a father who sold his son to the Zenin Clan to ensure his survival takes precedence. Toji retains his lethal instincts, but the blind rage cools into calculated precision. He is aware of his surroundings. He is aware of the timeline. The anomaly of his existence acts as a firewall against the control of Agami. We see this realization unfold at the very edge of Dagon's domain. The sky of the tropical beach shatters. A hole opens, held apart by the desperate efforts of a young sorcerer fighting a losing battle. Makizanin, Kento Nanami, and Neobaido then embrace for their final moments against the disaster curse. Toji drops through the opening. The residual cursed programming demands he lock onto the strongest entity in the room. He looks at the squid curse. He looks at his former clan head. Then his eyes find the exhausted boy maintaining the shadow portal. He sees the familiar stance. He recognizes the fluid movements of the 10 Shadows technique. He looks at Megumi. The realization cascades through his resurrected mind. The Zenin Clan failed to protect him. The Jujutsu world dragged his bloodline into a subterranean slaughterhouse. Instead of raising his weapon against Dagon, Toji turns away. His heightened senses expand far past the boundaries of the domain. He tracks the microscopic shifts in air pressure, the faint scent of blood, and the massive tectonic plates of cursed energy shifting under the streets of Shibuya. He filters out the chaotic noise of the city. He ignores the lingering presence of Jogo and the vile stench of Mahito's transfigured humans. Deep within the Fukutashin Line subway station, he pinpoints a singular stagnant anomaly. It is an ancient cursed energy signature radiating intense malice. It feels remarkably similar to the curses he used to store in his own stomach, but infinitely more refined and deeply sinister. It is the scent of a puppet master holding a prize. Toji realizes this rotting entity holds the keystone to the current era. If that entity succeeds, the world burns. If the world burns, Megumi dies. The equation is simple. The target switches. Toji steps back through the portal, leaving the domain behind. The carnage programming dissolves into the ether. The sorcerer killer is back on the clock. Far below the chaotic streets, Kenjaku stands victorious on the ruined subway platform. Satoru Gojo is sealed inside the prison realm. The cubic object sits heavy in his hands, radiating the suppressed energy of the modern era's strongest sorcerer. A millennium of meticulous planning, endless deceit, and failed experiments has culminated in this single impossible triumph. Kenjaku smiles. He has defeated the Six Eyes. The greatest obstacle in human history is removed from the board. He feels invincible. His sensory network maps out the entire underground system. He tracks every sorcerer and every curse. He knows exact distances and calculates threat levels with perfect clarity. But Kenjaku relies entirely on the established laws of Jujutsu. He tracks the flow and output of cursed energy. This is his fatal flaw. During the Hidan inventory arc, even Satoru Gojo with the 6 eyes failed to track Toji because there was nothing to track. Kenjaku inhabits the body of Suguru Geto. He possesses the memories of Geto and his immense sensory capabilities. He scans the environment looking for sparks of power. He measures the world in cursed energy. He feels nothing approaching. Toji descends the concrete stairwells of Shibuya Station like a ghost. He makes no sound. His footfalls absorb the kinetic impact with perfect efficiency. He controls his heart rate. He regulates his body temperature to match the cold underground air. He moves with a speed that defies basic physics, yet disturbs zero dust. Toji is a void in the cursed energy spectrum. To the radar of Kenjaku, the stairwell remains empty. Yuki Tsukumo theorized that Toji was the only being capable of breaking destiny because he was fully detached from cursed energy. Destiny in the Jujutsu world is bound by cursed energy. Toji operates outside of it. He is about to break the destiny Kenjaku spent 1,000 years writing. Kenjaku prepares to leave the platform. He lifts the prison realm, intending to regroup with Eurom and secure his prize. The air behind him shifts. It is not a spike in cursed energy. It is a massive displacement of oxygen. The sheer physical force of an object moving at Mach speed creates a vacuum in the enclosed subway tube. 1,000 years of survival instinct flares in the mind of the mastermind. He does not waste time turning around to inspect the threat. He instantly deploys a high-grade cursed spirit from his vast reserves to cover his blind spot. A towering monstrosity of hardened scales and razor wire appendages erupts from the shadows. It forms an impenetrable wall of cursed energy designed to deflect any sorcerer strike. Toji does not slow down, he accelerates. He drives his foot off the concrete wall, shattering it into a cloud of dust, and launches himself like a railgun projectile. He grips a heavy cursed tool he recovered on his rapid descent through the station. The blade meets the defensive cursed spirit. The impact sounds like an artillery shell detonating in a closed tunnel. The Grade 1 curse explodes into a shower of purple blood and rapidly fading energy. Kenjaku spins around, his monk robes billowing in the shockwave. The confident smile vanishes from his stitched face. His eyes widen in genuine shock. He recognizes the scarred lip. He recognizes the imposing physique. He remembers the traumatic memories etched into the brain of Suguru Geto from 12 years ago. It is the man who broke fate. It is the man who shattered the Star Plasma Vessel escort. It is the ghost who killed him in another life. Kenjaku knows the extreme danger of this exact situation. He witnessed Satoru Gojo fall to this specific anomaly. He does not waste time with arrogant monologues or questions. He opens his stance and activates cursed spirit manipulation to its maximum output. A black vortex manifests behind him. Hundreds of curses pour out in a tidal wave of grotesque limbs, snapping jaws, and toxic bile. The swarm fills the subway platform, creating a suffocating labyrinth designed to crush any close-quarters fighter through sheer numbers and overwhelming sensory overload. This is where the peak of physical human evolution truly shines. Toji moves. He perceives the incoming swarm in a state of hyper-focused slow motion. He reads the microscopic shifts in the air currents generated by the flailing curses. He predicts their attack trajectories before they even strike. He leaps onto the back of a flying serpentine curse, using its forward momentum to launch himself higher into the vaulted ceiling of the train station. He runs inverted along the subway roof. He weaves through a massive barrage of acid projectiles and piercing stingers. He wastes zero energy. Every movement is a calculated, lethal strike. He rips through tendons with his bare hands. He shatters thick carapaces with the force of his kicks. He uses the sheer physical mass of the curses to turn them into collateral damage against each other, throwing massive bodies like cannonballs. The curses cannot track him. Their automated domains and targeting instincts rely on locking onto cursed energy signatures. To them, Toji is an invisible force of nature tearing them apart. They bite at the empty space he occupied a fraction of a second prior. Kenjaku watches his swarm evaporate. He realizes cursed spirit manipulation is a heavily flawed weapon in this specific matchup. Quantity means nothing against a target who moves between the raindrops of a raging storm. Kenjaku feels the grip on his ultimate victory slipping away. He prepares his trump card. He readies the anti-gravity system. It is the cursed technique he inherited from Kaori Itadori, the very same technique he will later use to survive the black hole of Yuki Tsukumo. He waits for Toji to land within a precise 3-meter radius. Toji touches the cracked concrete floor. Kenjaku activates the technique. Gravity in the immediate vicinity intensifies exponentially. The floor caves inward under the invisible weight. The remaining curses caught in the blast radius flatten into indistinguishable paste under the immense pressure. Toji feels the crushing weight hit his broad shoulders. A normal sorcerer would be rendered completely immobile. Their internal organs ruptured by the gravitational pull. But his skeletal structure and muscle density are not bound by normal human limits. They are forged by the ultimate heavenly restriction. He forces his knees to lock. He stands upright against the crushing force, his muscles bulging as they fight the pull of the earth. He reaches into the cursed spirit wrapped securely around his waist. When Granny Agami summoned the physical information of his prime physical form, the cursed spirit he ingrained into his own body manifested alongside him, carrying the arsenal he wielded at his absolute peak. He bypasses the conventional weapons. He pulls out a jagged, twin-pronged blade radiating a peculiar disruptive energy, the inverted spear of heaven. Toji lunges forward, fighting the gravity well with raw physical power. He drives the blade into the distorted space in front of Kenjaku. The cursed technique nullification takes immediate effect. The gravity well shatters like fragile glass under the impact of the spear. The invisible pressure vanishes in an instant. Kenjaku stares in unfiltered horror as his ultimate defense dissolves into nothing. Toji closes the final distance in a microsecond. The gap between them vanishes. He swings the jit blade with unstoppable momentum. He does not aim for the heart, he does not aim for the throat. His instincts guide him to the true source of the ancient rod, bypassing the superficial defenses of the stolen body. He aims for the top of the skull. The inverted spear of heaven slices through the stale air of the subway. It cleanly severs the thick black stitches binding the forehead together. The cursed blade cleaves through the skull, bypassing bone and cursed energy reinforcement alike. It slices the parasitic brain in half, destroying the core of the ancient sorcerer in a single fluid motion. The consciousness of Kenjaku evaporates in an instant. The millennium of planning, the intricate binding vows, and the grand design for the evolution of humanity die in the dark, dirty tunnels of Shibuya. The lifeless body of Suguru Geto collapses to the concrete floor, a hollow shell once again. The prison realm slips from his dead fingers and clatters away, rolling to a stop near the edge of the bloodstained train tracks. Toji stands alone amidst the fading dust of thousands of destroyed curses. He looks down at the cube sealing the strongest sorcerer of the modern era. The oppressive energy of Satoru Gojo radiates from the small object. Toji stares at it for a long moment. He ignores it. He did not come here to save Satoru Gojo. He did not come here to restore balance to the Jujutsu society that cast him out. He drops his weapon. He turns his back on the ruined subway platform and walks away into the dense shadows of the underground. He neutralized the true existential threat to the world. He removed the puppet master from the board. He bought his son a future free from the machinations of an ancient parasite. The sorcerer killer vanishes into the dark, his final, unspoken job complete.